welcome back to Little Learn Mom. Here I am back to give you an update of what we've been going and doing over the last couple of months, because it's been a while since I've done one of these updates. Well, basically this update is going to be like an end of the year update, and then I'm going to come back in a couple weeks and I'm going to show you what we're going to be up to for the summer. So let's go ahead and jump right into this video. So let's jump into our read aloud. So for the last couple months, we have been reading a wonderful series of books called Heartwood Hotel, and I was first introduced to these books from Serena over at the Falco family, and we read this book first, and I absolutely love this series. The first book is called A True Home, and this book is basically the setting is in the fall, and we really did love this book. It's about a little mouse who's trying to find a home and find friends and family, and so it's a really sweet book if you want to include this in your homeschool. And along with this book, book 2 is set in wintertime, and book 3 is set in the spring, and book 4 is set in the summertime. So right now we are reading book 3, and this one is called Better Together. And I did not read book 2 because I wanted to save it for this upcoming winter. So we'll be reading that, and I will be purchasing this one with our 2019-2020 curriculum for the upcoming school year. As far as my son goes, my son has continued to read a lot of the series and finish up a lot of the series that I talked about in my previous video. And if you missed that video, I will insert an I either on this side or on this side, so you can see those videos of our library haul, and you can take a look at those series that he was reading. You can also check out the series of books that he has been reading over the last year in our Amazon store. It's marked Jay's favorite chapter books, and over 90% of those books he has actually read, and what he has not read are books that we're going to be moving over to the summer reading list, and you will also find that reading list in our summer Amazon store as well. He's also gotten back into the the story Treehouse series that all the kids have been reading. A good friend of mine's daughter recently was reading 104 stories, and my son saw it and he wanted to jump back in. We as a family had read 13 stories, and now that he saw her, he wants to read those. So we finished up the 52nd, and now he's reading the 65th, and I think he's on like chapter 7 of that book. So hopefully by the end of this week he will have finished that one, and I'm not trying to get him to read the next 3 in that series because I want to save those for the summer, but I don't know if I'm going to be successful at that because he knows where they keep them in the library, so he might end up just checking them out when we go. So for poetry, we don't do poetry tea time. We just don't do it. My son just didn't like it. I don't know, it may have been that the choice of books that I was choosing for poetry tea time was not interesting to him, or it just didn't fit his personality. So what we do at table time or when we're on the floor is we've been reading this wonderful series of books by the author's name is Bruce Lansky, and there are actually I think 4 or 5 books in this series, and the series is all kid poems, kid chosen poems, and they're a lot of fun. My son has taken these books off on his own and he's just read them. This particular book is divided into several different subject areas. One of the subject areas that we found in here was about tall tales, and we were studying tall tales in our language arts curriculum, and so we read the poems. We read all the poems about tall tales in here, and he absolutely loved it. So I love this series, and I will link this series in my description box, or you can find it in my Amazon store under Read Aloud. And let's moving on to language arts. Now, over on Instagram, I had shown that my son was working in Grammar Galaxy, and a lot of people were asking me, well, are you guys not doing the Good and the Beautiful anymore? What happened? And so we did finish the Good and the Beautiful level 1. He did exceptionally well in this curriculum. It did what it was supposed to do for us. He did do level K last year, and so this curriculum was pretty solid for us. Now, I know a lot of people, and I've talked about this before, people have issues with this curriculum because they said that they feel like it has indoctrination in it. It's too religiously heavy. I didn't see any of that, and anything that I did not feel like we were comfortable with, which was very few, we just didn't do it. You know, I substitute a lot of the pictures in here, the art pictures, with African American or African artists and other ethnic artists to make sure that it was diverse enough. Language arts wise, this was pretty solid for us, and I'm saying for us because my son came from a Montessori background where we did Montessori at home, so he had a really solid foundation in phonics before we even got into the Good and the Beautiful. He had worked hooked on phonics kindergarten through 2nd grade alongside working in the level K, and so he was able to work really, really well in this level 1 and a level K. It did what it was supposed to do. For us, it was very solid. My son has a very good understanding of language arts, the rules, the spelling rules that we did come across in here. He is really good in grammar, and so I don't have any issues with the Good and the Beautiful. It did what it was supposed to do, but for us, for 2nd grade, we will be using level 2, but I'm going to fine tune it a little bit more for where I think he is developmentally, because he knows all the sight words that are in the level 2 book. He's actually gone through all the levels to double check the sight words, and he knows them. So I'm gonna have to fine tune it as far as that. But you know, no curriculum is perfect. I mean, I don't curriculum hop, and I said this before over on Instagram. I'm not a curriculum hopper. I don't believe in it. I believe that if a curriculum does not work for your child, I think you should at least give it at least a couple weeks before you just jump into something else. And before you jump into something else, I feel like you need to get to the root of the problem of why it's not working for your child. You know, I did supplement very lightly while using the Good and the Beautiful. We use Spectrum Language Arts. We use the Moffitt Girls Language Arts 1 and 2, 1st and 2nd grade. And I did very little supplementing with it because he had such a good grasp on it, but I always made sure that the concepts have been mastered. So, you know, like I said, I don't curriculum hop. If I need to switch curriculums, I always make sure I get to the root of the problem before I just say, hey, I'm just going to toss it. Because, you know, kids, if something is too challenging for them and they just don't want to do it, they'll say, oh, this is not working. I don't like it. And, you know, it'll have you thinking in your head, okay, this curriculum is not working, but it may not be that the curriculum is not working. It may be that it may be challenging your child and they just don't want that kind of challenge right now. And so I think it's very important that you know your child's learning style, and you know when, you know, it's not working or there's a deeper problem. Erica over at My Busy Bees and Me's, she introduced me to Easy Grammar Grade 1 as a daily supplement for language arts for my son. I use this as a daily supplement for him. So if we don't do any reading for the day or language arts, we do Easy Grammar. We will be working with this from front to back. He is in the middle right now working on it. It's working really well. I will be buying grade 2 when he finishes this, but not until he finishes this. But it's really easy. I mean, he can get this done in less than 5 minutes because his foundation has been laid so well with, you know, what we've done previously, as well as what we did when we were working in the Good and the Beautiful. So he's also loving Mad Libs. He found this. I actually had bought this from Amazon, and he flipped through it and he started working in it before I even gave it to him. He absolutely loves Mad Libs. This is Mad Libs Junior. He doesn't like the regular Mad Libs. He said the books are too small. And so we're using this as handwriting practice because he finished his handwriting, and so he's really enjoying the stories. Like sometimes he'll do 2 or 3 of these at a time. So he's loving Mad Libs Junior. And again, in my homeschool, everything is interest led. I move according to how he moves. If he wants to do 2 or 3 pages in here, I let him. As long as he's understanding what he's doing, I let him do it. I don't push things on him. I let him go at his own speed. All the curriculum choices that I made for this school year, I was very careful to choose things that I knew would work best for him, and things that were economically reasonably for us as a homeschooling family, and as well as it just made sense for us. So moving on to what caused the big, oh, are you still using Good and the Beautiful, is that I had posted on Instagram that we were working in Grammar Galaxy. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is Grammar Galaxy Volume 1 Nebula. My son and I could probably do this in about 6 weeks. And the reason being is because everything that's in here, with the exception of the very first mission, my son has already done in the Good and the Beautiful, in his supplemental work, and he's seen it before, he's done it before, he has a good handle on it. So the reason why I went with this was because it is a literature-based curriculum. It is for grades 1 for first and second. I love the fact that the kids were playing video games. Well, they periodically play video games in here, and my son is into video games now, and so he really did appreciate that. So he was really interested in it, and I just wanted something for us to do from the spring and work through the summer, you know, that was fun and that we could just kind of do. But again, the Grammar Galaxy, this one, I could have easily bumped him into Volume 2 and he would have worked with it without any problems. They don't suggest that you keep a vocabulary journal in the Grammar Galaxy, but we do. So what I do is for each chapter I write the chapter, and then I write the vocabulary words, and he will write the meaning of the words. So I'm getting handwriting practice done for him, because we're not doing our handwriting curriculum anymore. And so he keeps a vocabulary journal, and I will honestly say that we are on chapter 12 right now, and he knows all 36 vocabulary words, their meanings, and so I'm loving mixing this with some cards that I made about 2 weeks ago, and I posted them in the Grammar Galaxy Facebook group that I made these cards, and a lot of moms were really interested in these cards, and so I made these for him as a little matching game, as a little you know, he usually gets the card with the definition, and when he's writing them down, he uses this to copy from. So that is what we've been doing for language arts. For geography, we did work in the geography Evan Moore Skill Sharpeners, connecting school and home. Now, let me just tell you that this is a workbook. This is not a curriculum. And I believe that Evan Moore designed it in a way so parents could see what their children are learning, and then they can kind of rehash those things at home. This is not a workbook, and I've seen a lot of people use a lot of these type of workbooks like Spectrum and DK and as curriculums. For me, in my opinion, those are workbooks. They're not curriculum, because it's just kind of grazing over the different areas of study that your children should be learning. If they're in traditional school, or even if they're at homeschool, you got to put some work. You've got to come up with a geography plan for your child, and not let this be your whole plan. This was a great conversation starter for us. We went back and revisited the 50 states. That's what we're doing now. My son is more interested in knowing about you know, what the state bird is, what is the nickname, and what are their natural resources. So this was a great conversation starter for us to dig deeper into our geography, but in no way, shape, or form was this our geography curriculum for the entire year. This was just I don't even say a spine. This was just a kind of like nice layout of things that we should be covering and talking about in depth. For math, we are still working our way through Horizon Math. We're almost done with this. Some of you may have known when I did my 2018-2019 curriculum choices, and I'll insert a card up here that we have started off using Matthew C. Alpha. Horizons has always been a supplement for us. Even last year, we had Matthew C. Primer and we had Horizon Math Kindergarten. And what we ended up doing this year is that my son was frustrated because he did not like the repetitiveness. It wasn't the skills that he was not mastering. He did not like the repetitiveness in the Matthew C. Alpha. And so because of that, we jumped back into Horizon's first grade 2 months later, and that is what he worked on for the remainder of this school year. And this has worked out really well. I knew that there was going to be a small little issue with the Alpha because he was starting to get into that. He didn't like the repetitiveness at the end of last year because we did finish the primer and we did do the book 1 of Horizons Kindergarten. So I knew that we were teeter-tottering on a really slippery slope by doing the Alpha. But I went ahead and got it because I do like Matthew C. because it is a mastery program and it does lay down some really good foundations. But he really has been enjoying the Horizon grade 1, and we are going to be doing grade 2, and we're also going to be picking up Beast Academy because I let him tinker around on Beast Academy online a couple months ago, and he absolutely loves it. For science, what have we been doing? We finished up Water in Our World and we did Intro to Energy. I did not do the Good and the Beautiful all the way through for both of those unit studies because my son he just didn't have an interest in it past, I want to say lesson 5 or lesson 6 of each one of them. Plus I thought those lessons would be better fit for him to do next year at the end of his 2nd grade year, and it would give us something to come back to. So what I did was I geared what we were working on towards what his interests were. My husband is a music producer, so he covered sound with the energy of sound in the studio with him. I got out his snap circuits. We did that, and I'll insert some pictures so you can see at the end. We just kind of made the curriculums our own, and we used it as a spine to follow, some things of topics that we need to talk about, but we did not use it in its completeness. I just didn't feel like we needed to do that. We just needed to get to a certain spot, then pick it back up at a later day, and I'm fine with that because he met all his requirements for our state and with what he did learn and beyond that. So science that's what we did for science these last couple months. For right now, I did buy him the Abeka 2nd grade as well as the Abeka 3rd grade science, and so he's been working through those right now as far as science, and we've just been doing a lot of hands-on stuff. We're going to move into our botany study really soon, and so he'll be working on that for the month of May and the month of May and a little bit of June. And in the month of June, I've got something else planned for us to do that he's absolutely super excited about. And so we'll be doing that. Let's see, what else have we been doing? Social studies, we finished. Social studies is just one of those things where it's just everyday life. We did have a social studies curriculum and we did read through the book. For next year, we're using the exact same curriculum, but I also bought the student book to go along with it, and we're going to be working in the student book and doing a lot of hands-on activities and field trips and things like that. And I don't want to get really too much into what we're going to be doing for 2nd grade because I haven't gotten all his curriculum in yet, and I will be sharing those in a later video. Let's see, what else? Handwriting, we finished. I mean, we just basically just been finishing things up and just having a fun, doing a lot of things that we're doing. We've been taking out more of our games. We've been taking out a lot of more of our hands-on materials for homeschooling and building up skills. For the next several weeks, we're just going to be just reviewing things and going through things and just having a whole lot of fun and just ending up our school year. Technically, my son ended his school year, I want to say, in February or late January. He was already over 200 days of homeschooling, and our state only requires, I think, 180, so he was way over. So he's technically done with 1st grade, but we're just finishing out the rest of our curriculum. Let's see, what else? I think that's really it. And if you haven't seen my latest video, I did an unboxing of Kids Night Kids Night inbox, and I've got a new one coming up because we have the April box, and you will see that one get uploaded tomorrow. It's all about reuse, reduce, and recycle, and it's about Earth Day, so it's a really fun box. I have another unboxing box that I'm going to be doing called Eat to Explore, and we have the Ethiopia box. It smells wonderful, and I can't wait to bring that one to you. But until the next time, please don't forget to subscribe, follow us over on Instagram, and at the end of this video, you're gonna see a couple pictures of us just kind of hanging out and having fun with homeschool. So I'll talk to you guys later.